Three here at Oklahoma, and you better believe these guys know they have not lost a series at home in 18 years, and that's what Oklahoma State is trying to do. One and two, the count to Jillian Pouillard, the transfer out of McNeese State. 1 of 3 to hit a home run in game 1 last night. And their 6-3 win. Of course, if you're a big softball fan and over the years you've spent some time with us in Oklahoma and Oklahoma City and up in Stillwater, you know that weather can often be a concern, and it is already here today. And we, with the first at-bat of the afternoon, and they are asking the fans to leave their seats. And Texas picking up a win earlier today, now need to win their last 2 games today and tomorrow to get a share of the Big 12 championship for the 12th year in a row. Beth Mowins here in the booth alongside our Olympic gold medalist Jessica Mendoza and Michelle Smith, a former. As you check out the lineup for the Cowgirls, Jillian Pouillard is at the plate. Carly Godwin is one to watch. She had a home run in yesterday's 6-3 win. So did Jillian here at the top. She has a 2-2 count against Nicole May, the senior on this senior weekend, who gets the start for the Sooners.
Well, this was tough for Nicole May because she was fired up, ready to go. She threw 4 pitches.
Afternoon local time here, Central Time. So the official delay 3 hours and 24 minutes. And we restart with ball 3, and the count goes full.
How about as a hitter? You're getting the batter's box with 2 strikes against you. I mean, you got to be ready to pull the trigger.
It's like back in the day when you're playing kids ball where you're like 1 pitch. That's it. Everybody gets 1 pitch. Or 1 strike.
Much of the crowd has returned. And Pouillard is called out strike 3. She claims she got hit by the pitch. As it stands, 1 down.
It's a rise ball in the upper half.
She's saying it hit her backhand. So watch that top hand. You see the split grip. It looks like it nicked her fingers.
Yeah, if she swings and misses and it hits the hand on the back there, she's still going to be out, and that is the call by the umpire. Megan Rabin, Leah Dahm, and Mike Burwell in blue today. So with 1 down, here's Talon Edwards to face May, who over the course of her 4-year career, 60-4 with a career ERA of 1.66. Edwards is local, just up the street, Moore, Oklahoma. A freshman All-American last year. She was 0 for 1 in the opener last night, but did walk a couple times, scored a couple runs. After Oklahoma jumped in front 2-0, the Pokes were powered by 3 home run balls to come back and win the opener. And now another 2-strike count. Blocked by Kinsey Hansen behind the dish. the Johnny Bench Award winner, best catcher in the country last year. Ten Sooners on this team. A lot of superstars back in the lineup from their national championship team. Each of the last 3 seasons for Oklahoma State, well, they lost 5 field starters as well as their ace pitcher, Kelly Maxwell, who transferred from Oklahoma State to Oklahoma. Pokes beat her in game 1 last night. 2-2.
That's a heck of a battle. That pitch off speed. Her just being able to get a piece of it. You can see her whole entire body triggered to swing, and then her hands kind of slowed up, recognizing last minute just to foul this off. Stay in the at-bat.
Just to your point, Nicole May throws about 28% off-speed or change-up pitches. That's the most of any pitch, so 2 to 3 different speeds. Extremely deceptive.
That one's in the dirt. And back-to-back full counts to start this one out for May. Started out the season 11-0, but in her last 4 starts, she's 1-1 with a couple of no decisions. Infield pop, left side, Tiare Jennings at short. 2 down.
And Nicole May with a lot of experience in that circle as a senior. She really moves the ball through the zone. She's got a great ability to throw rise ball on that outer half. She's got a lot of hop to it, but it's really been her pitches low in the zone, especially a changeup that she will really dive into the batter, and that's really the key for her. If she can throw that changeup effectively and really work that rise ball up in the zone, a little bit of drop curveball, she can be extremely effective. But the pitch she does throw the most, 28% at that changeup. Rise and drop at about 20% each.
In for a strike to Caroline Wong, hitting in the 3 spot in the lineup. The senior from Paris, Tennessee, who played at Liberty the last 4 years, helped them get to the Super Regionals last season. And it's been a real good leader for this young group of Cowgirls, and that's going to fall in front of Jada Coleman, and a base hit for Wong, who leads this team in batting average, home runs, and runs batted in, and she's aboard with 2 out.
Oklahoma had her number last night. Coming inside, they come back inside today, but she just gets enough. This is muscling through it. She gets it off the hands, finding the one spot in the field that Jada Coleman's not going to dive and be able to catch something. But everything that she has seen against Oklahoma
Last night, and a 2-run double. Both of these clubs have 2 players on the finalists list for Freshman of the Year, the top 25. Carly and then Rosie Davis, who was in the on-deck circle for the Pokes. They're 2 young studs.
May still kind of getting feel for that drop, Smitty. We've seen the changeup work well, the rise ball, but the drop has been non-competitive. We've seen it hop 3 or 4 times before it gets to home plate.
And you see Godwin's power numbers, the freshman record for home runs at Oklahoma State. It's nearly 350 with runners on base this year. And another batter reaches a 3-ball count.
Rise ball in the inner half. Godwin doing a good job of laying off that pitch. All these hitters trying to figure out the strike zone.
And she draws the walk. And that bumps a runner into scoring position for Davis. There you see Patty Gasso. 30th season with the Sooners, 7-time national champions, including the last 3 in a row. And another banner year in this final season in the Big 12 for Oklahoma and Texas. Those two and this Oklahoma State team all ranked in the top 5, all expected to host regionals and supers, amongst the favorites to get to the World Series. Ground ball to Jennings. It's short. Side retired. Couple stranded. Sooners will pick up the bats when we come back. Play. Brito and Hansen, two of their seniors, swinging good bats the last 10 games. 488 at the plate. Much better than the rest of the club. They will try and set a tone. And they will face Ivy Rosenberry in the circle for the Cowgirls. 13 starts, close to 100 innings of work.
Rosenberry's been outstanding this year. Really can hammer the zone. Her velocity is way up. Her drop ball is really effective. She's got a lot of downward movement on it and can also spread the zone with the curveball. She's going to throw that drop ball about 55% of the time, that curveball about 31% of the time. But she is hard velocity in that 60s. She's hard down with that movement and has that attack mindset. And she's just having a great senior campaign.
It's a new tradition they're trying to start here at Loves Field. They get on their feet, start with the O, and then on the first pitch, bring it home with the U. Jada Coleman in this senior class, amongst the best we've ever seen in the sport. Certainly they can lay claim to that with a 4th straight national championship. So consistent over the course of her career. The numbers have taken a little dip over the last month or so. The Sooners hoping to trigger both Coleman and Tiare Jennings at the plate as they get set to head into their final postseason together. Had a hit last night, walked a couple times. It is an offense with the best batting average in the country. They're top 3 in home runs. They are striking out hardly at all, and they are walking a ton as a group. And there is a punch out. Coleman in disbelief, and a strikeout for Rosenberry.
And Rosenberry with that velocity is going to come underneath the hands of Jada Coleman. Coleman thinking this pitch is going to be on the inner half in the river. They get the call. Rosenberry pumped up, but you're right, Beth. Coming back, this is a team that has a very good eye. 273 walks coming into today's OU.
Here's freshman Ella Parker. She and Cassidy Pickering, the 2 rookies in the lineup, and also finalists for National Freshman of the Year honors.
She is a veteran hitter for a freshman. You can always tell the ones that come in have been coached really well. Great eye at the plate. So much power. Speed as well.
Ground ball to first. Godwin will step on the base, 2 down. And here comes Tiare Jennings. All she's done so far in her career, well, 7th all-time in home runs with 91, 6th all-time in RBIs with 300. Trying to rediscover that swing. Last night, for the first time in her career, she had a strikeout 3 games in a row. But she's also got the power. She has homered in 2 of her last 3 outings.
It's amazing the standard that she has for herself. 3 for 22, worst stretch of her career.
In for a strike from Rosenberry.
Still batting close to 380. The biggest thing that they've talked about with her is her timing. And watch her hands and that movement that she's got, being able to get into that right position with her hands on time.
Checks that one. Straight away center, back to the track, and it will stay in the yard. With the breeze blowing in, Jennings is retired.
Post in her first Bedlam, she said, I just remained calm. I stepped into the box and I knew I'd hit the ball hard, so I knew I had done my job. When I asked her where did she get that steely composure from, she grew up in Lake Waccamaw, North Carolina. She's a hunter and a fisher. She has killed a bear. So this Bedlam stuff is nothing. She can remain calm because when you're hunting bear, you got to be a lot more composed.
When you're hunting bear, yes.
You probably didn't have that on your Bedlam bingo card, folks. Holly getting to the bottom of that bear business. First pitch swinging just outside the line for Claire Timm. 6, 7, 8 coming up. I loved what her coach, Kenny Gajewski, said about Carly when we talked to her this week. Said she's just rude to the softball, the way she pounds it.
That was great the way you described that.
Timm is the sophomore from California, had a hit in the win last night. Winners of 9 in a row and 15 of their last 17. They have a series win over Texas this year. They stubbed their toe at Iowa State. But since then, they've been on a roll, and Kenny Gajewski credits a wiffle ball game to having this team remember how much fun it is to play. Timm swings up and out of the zone, and the second strikeout for May, 1 down.
And Nicole May can throw a jumpy rise ball at the top of the zone, and when she's really getting underneath this ball, she'll put it in your eyes. It's not got a ton of velocity, so it's mid-60s, which is the sweet spot. That's really what you want. She's not throwing through her spin. She's got that really good rotation.
I gotta say my name.
What's that got to do with anything?
Jess loves the rise ball.
And that's why Nicole May, I feel like when she's throwing her best, is she's not trying to overpower hitters. She's using a combination of the velocity and spin.
It's so easy for pitchers to get into that mindset that they have to throw hard, they have to blow the ball past hitters, and that's not the case. I would always go back to Kat Osterman and say she was her best at 63 miles an hour. When she would throw any harder than that, her ball would flatten out. That drop ball was unhittable at 63, 64 miles an hour.
Still the all-time record holder for strikeouts per 7 innings in a career. I think it's over 11, close to 12. Incredible. Per game. 2 strikes to Michaela Wark and a 1-2 count. Jennings has been busy, handles that hot shot. 2 out. Not just doing it with their bats, but this Oklahoma team, number 5 in the country in ERA and number 3 in the nation in fielding percentage. Patty Gasso loves to coach the defense, says that is an aspect of the game that can really switch momentum in a hurry.
Tiara is a senior, first year at shortstop.
Grace Lyons was there, seemed like forever. They're multi-year All-American.
That's a big switch. You think you've played 4 years over at second base, and then all of a sudden you're at shortstop? That's tough.
In foul ground, Brito checks and into the screen.
I love watching Alyssa Brito, too, how she checks before she gets to the fence or the net. Does everything she can to try to get her glove before it hits the net.
.317 on the season. She's been even better the last couple of weeks. 3 of her last 6 hits have been extra base hits.
That's a nice pitch by Nicole May. Took just enough off of that. Get McDonald a little bit out in front.
And that will squirt through the right side at a base hit for McDonald. Second of the ball game for Oklahoma State. And just like in the first inning, Kenny Gajewski's crew has a 2-out base runner.
2-strike swing. And Smitty, same pitch, a little bit off of it. You can tell the off speed. Hits it off the end of the bat, but perfect location. That 3-4 hole finds its way through.
That's their 6th hit of the series with 2 outs. And Megan Bloodworth in the 9 spot in the lineup. She's out there every day for her glove, for her defensive work. Let's see if she can come up with a clutch AB here. May puts that one right down Main Street. 0-2. Pops it up. Back on the grass is Torres, and she's got it. Base hit, one stranded for the Pokes. Still scoreless in Norman.
Keep your spring.
Go and have a little fun. Take the pressure off. So they went to the store, I believe it was a Target, got a wiffle ball bat, and they got out and started to play. Since they did that, took some of that pressure off, look at the 9-game win streak and some of those numbers. They have been able to produce. So when the weight of the season got heavy, he got to having a little fun, and that has got the Cowgirls back where they belong.
And Holly, that has put them in a position that they have not been in a long, long time. Coming here to Norman, how satisfying that win was last night. We talked to Kenny pregame and says, hey, we're throwing everything we got at them today to try to win the series. Oklahoma, I mean, they've been so good for so long, guys. They have not lost a series here at home in 18 years in the regular season.
It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. In some of those years, it wasn't even that they were so dominant throughout the country. They just were really dominant within the Big 12.
Just always a complete team. And that's what Patty Gasso with that championship mindset. Because she loves defense herself, she always made sure she had a great defensive team behind really good pitchers. It was a lot of lefty pitchers that won her those national championships, but the offense just leaves the yard.
Oh, two here to Alyssa Brito.
It's funny, Smitty, because that's what Oklahoma is known for now, is their offense. But you're right, she built it for decades on pitching and defense.
Lefty pitchers.
They'd find those hits offensively, but this year's team especially, they lead with their bats.
I bet Beth has the name of every lefty pitcher.
I do. I got them written down. As a result, you force your opponents, you force your rivals to elevate their game. So Texas has to hire Mike White and make improvements to their stadium. And now look at them. They're in a position to try and win the league. Kenny Gajewski now, ninth season now. Snagged at first in foul territory, one down. But Kenny in his 9th season, 4 straight trips to the World Series. These two programs are the only ones that can boast of being in Oklahoma City the last 4 years. And now they're fighting for potentially their first Big 12 championship, I think since 95. They need to win the next 2 and hope Texas loses. That's going to be tough for a Texas team that just beat Texas Tech today 23-0. So let's throw that out there. See what sticks. I think Reese Atwood, a couple of home runs today, so she set the new single-season home run record at Texas. There you see their win is already up on the board, so Oklahoma needs this win to stay tied, and that would also knock Oklahoma State out of it.
Texas won the series over Oklahoma, so they have that head-to-head matchup.
It's 11 Big 12 championships in a row for Oklahoma. 2-1, swing and a miss for Torres. Ivy Rosenberry, the transfer from Virginia Tech, now in her second year at Oklahoma State, playing through some rib issues. She's playing through the pain today. She knows how big this would be.
She's such a unique pitcher, too. And somebody talked about the higher velocity, but she also has low spin. So we get excited about spin rates. Ivy Rosenberry has an extremely low spin rate, which works well with that drop ball. You want to have low spin on a drop ball. Make it go down.
Opposite way for Torres, and that'll drop in fair inside the line. A leaner to second as McDonald slipped out in the outfield, and she's in there standing up. And the first base runner for the Sooners.
How about this? 2 strikes. Look at the reach. Where this pitch is located, this is off the plate, but she does not want to leave it up to the umpire. Barely getting this one fair. I mean, it's hitting chalk out in right field. Maybe a 60% swing.
Out of Humboldt, Texas. Had a hit, drove in a run yesterday. And let's send it down to Holly Rowe.
Well, Beth, you mentioned that Ivy Rosenberg is fighting through an injury to her ribs. We talked with Kenny Gajewski about it, and he said it's a pain tolerance issue. She's not in danger of injuring it more, but she's got to fight through some pain. He's very communicative about with this. He said that yesterday she was like, hey, coach, I could have given you 6 more outs. So she'll tell him how she's feeling, what she has to give as she works through that pain.
Yeah, and she's talking with her pitching coach, Carrie Eberly, the new pitching coach here at Oklahoma State, former pitcher for the Pokes. I mean, both of these coaching staffs have hit the portal hard the last few years and have had tremendous success, especially in the circle.
Well, and Samantha Shaw was the first really big one to come across for Kenny Gajewski. Patty Gasso's grabbed G. Juarez, a couple of others throughout the years that have really made a big impact. Joseph Thomas.
Catches the outside corner, 2-1.
See Cassidy Pickering. She gets
2-1. And now 3-1. 11 walks in her last 7 games for Cassidy. Swing and a miss, full count. Top 5 recruit out of high school goes the opposite way, and that will drift foul. .361 with runners in scoring position. That's top 10 in the country.
Cassidy Pickering, you see that front toe that she leaves open.
First walk drawn for the Sooners, and a couple are aboard.
All kinds of unique hitting styles. Oklahoma Sooners always experimenting with different things. She does that with her front toe to kind of help clear her hips there. Good eye. Get on base.
And yet another walk. The most in the country for the Sooners. And that sets up Kinsey Hansen, who steps into the batter's box with the best average on the team at .430 on the year.
Which is why it's interesting having her in this 7-hole. I mean, the best hitters in this lineup. Patty Gasso has continuously moved her hitters around the lineup.
Trying to find those spots.
Kinsey's got a hit in 15 of her last 18 games. The last month, she has seen her batting average jump up 80 points.
She just missed that last one, too. She was right on it. You're going to notice as she gets in the batter's box, she is way off the plate. We talked about Ivy with that drop ball. She's got great glove side and arm side command. She can come into these righties.
And because of that, they're going outside. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, and Kinsey's got a long reach, so she's looking inside. That's one thing, but she can also reach the outer half, just like Torres did with that double down the line.
One, two from Ivy. Hanson with the good eye. First team All-American last year, and her numbers are even better this year. And it's the called strike three on Hanson. 2 strikeouts for Rosenberry, and both of them looking.
Rosenberry, after going on the outer half for a couple pitches, comes back inside. You can see that Hanson was potentially not ready for that. She's saying, no, that's not a strike. That pitch probably on the corner of the plate in the river. It's always that, those 2 strikes, got to make sure you protect.
So it's Sydney Sanders in the 8th spot. Oh for 1 last night with a couple of walks. She is your embodiment of that 3 outcome player. It's going to be a walk, a strikeout, or a home run pretty much. Over half of her hits, homers. Right now, a 3-0 count. Taken all the way. Rosenberry trying to work out of the jam here. 2 on with 2 outs. Full count.
That is a great spot to locate against these right-handed batters. You can tell it freezes them up. There's a lean. They're off the plate, but they're leaning to go middle away. And right now, Ivy is doing what few pitchers can, and that's get that inside corner. That's a strike right on that inside part of the plate.
Swing and a miss, and Rosenberry comes all the way back from 3-0 to get the strikeout.
Rosenberry's been very good at using both sides of the plate. She'll get you looking outside, come back underneath the hand.
Inching closer to 50 on the season, the 77 home runs, 3rd most they have ever hit. So they got some power. They are on pace to set a new school record for runs per game. So the offense has been doing it all year for Kenny Gajewski's club. Their resume is top-notch. They are likely to be a host for both the regionals and the supers. That win last night, their 5th top 10 win of the season. And that is the most of any team in the country in terms of RPI wins over the top 5 and also the top 3 in the country. Of course, they took 2 from Texas and 1 from OU. Back to the top of the order here for the Pokes. They've had base runners in each of the first couple innings. Last night, her 7th home run of the season.
Going back to last night, Jillian Pouliard. You see that split grip, too. Did a beautiful job on a pitch up in the zone using that top hand. Barely cleared over there in right field. The crowd, too. And I know you know this, Smitty. It's Bedlam. You expect it, whether you're in Stillwater or in Norman. But, yeah, the 4,500 sellout. A little impatient with the rain, 3 hours, and they are yelling right now.
Well, and it's really become a rivalry the last few years. because Oklahoma State now is starting to win occasionally. And that ball got away from Hansen, and Poulard to first.
Gets underneath her glove. It's definitely a catchable ball.
That's the movement. When Nicole May can throw that off speed and chase you down into the dirt.
So a strikeout, but then the wild pitch in your scorebook.
It's a foul ball right off of Kinsey Hansen. She was jumping up because they were showing bunt. Edwards was. So Kinsey jumped up, got her on the throwing arm.
Nice hand from the crowd for Kinsey.
Edwards show bunt. Yeah, she actually caught it with her elbow.
She'll stay in there, the senior from Norco, California. Here's Talon Edwards. Does get the bunt down. Brito fires to second in time to get the lead runner.
All right, this is all about that championship mindset, being aggressive. Love the way that Brito's going to come in on this. It looks like it's slow developing, but it's her release. She gets that down really quick. Look at the way she's going to get this. Immediately in her hand and out. And Tiara
Getting to second base. That was a great play.
Yeah, it was a really good play.
Oh, one down, a runner on first for Caroline Wong. Singled in the first. With so many new faces, with so many young players, the Cowgirls have leaned a lot on Caroline for leadership and that veteran presence. She's batting .378 this year with runners on base. And look at the numbers during this 9-game winning streak.
She's one of those players that just wants to swing the bat, too. Very low walk numbers, still in the single digits. Low strikeout, too. She rarely gets to 2 strikes. She had 2 yesterday. Kind of her first taste of this series. She talked this morning about, wow, this was a whole different kind of crowd.
Yeah.
Whole different atmosphere.
Spicy. It's bedlam.
Well, the other thing, of course, that has ratcheted it up a notch this year was the Maxwell transfer from Oklahoma State to Oklahoma. It's not like social media got a hold of that or anything. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Nope, got a piece.
Previous pitch was a changeup. They come back to this again, and just enough of it off the end of the bat.
They've been attacking her inside, Smitty, really coming in on the hands, and so you can see her front side start to pull open.
Jammed her. That'll get out of play onto the concourse here at the beautiful new Loves Field. First season in existence. Fabulous new ballpark.
Incredible. Setting the standard.
Feels big league, as it should.
Yeah. Wong drops down to scoop that one up, and Jennings is there, 2 down. So here comes Carly Godwin. Walked in the first.
Yeah, As much as we talked about the numbers of Wong, the hitter prior, it has been all Godwin so far this series. And just a freshman. Kenny Gajewski talks about how excited he is about her continuing to lead this team. She gets better in these bigger moments.
Sometimes freshmen hit that wall, right, and the numbers start to plummet. She's been the opposite.
Well, both Godwin and Davis, who hits behind her, 2 freshmen in the 4 and 5 holes. I mean, it's pretty impressive for a top 5 program in the country. I mean, if you could swing the bat like that, step into a lineup and do damage like this, Oklahoma, same thing with Pickering. Yeah, you've got these, just shows how special. Ella Parker as well for Oklahoma, just shows how special these freshmen are.
Now 1-2 count to Godwin. And that'll find the grass out and left. Base hit for Carly. Edwards will hold at second.
You can't get her out. I mean, she on base 3 hits yesterday, walked earlier, and this one is an off-speed pitch. She gets it off the end of the bat, but again, her reach, her ability, you see how tall she is, and she uses those levers to get around this. Another hit for Carly.
Second time now they've had a runner in scoring position. Couldn't get it home in the first. Can Rosie Davis do it here in the third?
For Oklahoma State, they're going to go back and not being able to sacrifice Pouliard over. Keeps a run off the board with that base hit by Godwin. That's why it's so important to go after that lead runner. Great play by Brito.
Inside to Davis. Right back up the middle. They're going to hold the runner at third. Edwards will stay there.
This is a beautiful hit right up the middle, and I think Kenny Gajewski needs to get further down the line so he can see this bobble not hold her up at third base, because by the time she bobbles it.
First pitch, and Sanders has it at first. Cowgirls leave them loaded here in the third. And they are trying to cap it off with a 4th consecutive national championship.
I mean, you look at, too, those UCLA teams, 12 national championships after Arizona, but this senior class alone, what they have done.
Incredible.
The winningest senior class in the history of Division I, and that is saying something.
I remember how good they were as freshmen when they came in. We're like, wow, they still have 3 more years. Well, 3.5.
Yeah.
It's just been amazing.
Here's Riley Boone. And a run of seniors. Coleman on deck. Tiare Jennings due up 4th this inning. What you got for us, Holly?
Well, we're talking about those seniors and the great success that they've had, but with that success comes pressure. And Patty Gasso has been talking a lot to us about trying to relieve some of that pressure from her seniors. She told them after the game last night, listen, Oklahoma State came out aggressive and you guys were just defensive, like you're defending something. I want you to come out like you're the aggressors. We had a big chuckle that she kind of wants them to get in a bar fight. I don't know if that's appropriate language, but they want to come out and be feisty. Not all of us have been in bar fights, but those of us that have, we know exactly what she's talking about.
I believe there's a story about Holly Rowe in a bar fight somewhere in there, but that's for a later date.
We'll get to that in the 5th.
Boone slashes that one to the right side. one down.
Well, and to Holly's point, a lot of times when we played, and I know we did this with Team USA, we would every inning we'd ring the bell, ding ding, like it was a boxing match. Like, all right, who won that round? Because it is. You've got to be at that level of excitement, that level of aggressiveness to play at your best.
Back to the top of the order, and Jada Coleman. Already a big day with a 3-hour and 24-minute rain delay, and now stories of bears and bar fights and boxing matches. And we're only in the third inning.
We know that Holly Rowe is in the building.
It's all a part of Bedlam. In this, the last regular season matchup as part of the Big 12 softball sorority. Of course, Oklahoma and Texas leaving for the SEC next year. Handful of West Coast teams joining the Big 12 next year. As you would imagine in these parts, the animosity runs high about this move. But there is a lot of hope that they will still be playing softball games against one another next season and for years to come.
I think there's a lot of hope that that Bedlam game would show up potentially at Hall of Fame Stadium. And
could you not get 20,000? How many people in there? 15,000 people would go to those games.
They could pack it, just like Oklahoma did last year with Texas.
Yep.
There's no reason that can't be done every year.
You've also noticed probably the turquoise uniforms for Oklahoma State and a special ball cap that Kenny Gajewski is wearing today. All a part of celebrating Native American culture, which of course is huge in this part of the country. And the turquoise represents harmony, friendship, and fellowship. And you see the beads there on the bill of Kenny's hat. They went to the Native American History Museum the other day as a team. So the players would have a greater awareness of why they wear those colors and what it means to represent it. 3-2 to Coleman. And Holly?
Well, you see that really beautiful beadwork on the brim of Kenny Gajewski's hat. That was actually done by a member of Chickasaw Nation, Ace Greenwood, who is with Oklahoma State in the dugout today. He's associated with the First Americans Museum that is in Oklahoma City. They took their team there on the way down here. And he said, I want these young women to understand what they're wearing and why and who they represent as part of this Oklahoma culture.
Thank you, Holly. Coleman with the infield pop-up, 2 down.
It's pretty amazing. It's got his initials in there.
Awesome.
Kenny said it was a gift that he received, and just...
He almost didn't want to wear it. Yeah. And they were like, no, you have to wear it. He's like, well, I don't want to get it sweaty. No, you have to wear it.
So with 2 down, it's Ella Parker. Neither side able to break through. Oklahoma State has had chances. They've left 6 on base. And for Oklahoma, only a couple of base runners so far, just the 1 hit. They only mustered 3 hits in the loss yesterday, and they had a 2-hit game in a win last weekend against Central Florida. So the lumber hasn't been thumping of late like it has throughout much of the season. We'll hear from head coach Patty Gasso coming up. Who just recently passed the 1,500 win mark. And we are told that one of the finishing touches on Loves Field will be a new Patty Gasso statue out in front of the building. They hope to maybe have that in place in time for the NCAA tournament. Parker reaches for the outside pitch. Godwin's there to gobble it up. 1-2-3 inning for Rosenberry. Scoreless still in Norman.
You had a beautiful ceremony pregame with your senior, Tiare Jennings. How special was that for her to celebrate her heritage?
It was wonderful and emotional for me. I have a love for the Polynesian culture because I've had it in this program for so long. And there's just a proud culture, and you felt that today. And for Tiare, I thought it was unbelievable, something she'll never forget. And her dad was right in the middle of the ceremony. So those are things that, away from the game, you just, you never forget.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah.
Here is that ceremony pregame. Tiare got right out there on the field and brought to tears by it all. So much going on, right, guys? Especially when you have so many seniors on a team. We've seen it with several other programs around the country. It equals emotions. You've got expectations. You've also got things coming to an end. You've got the history of trying to win a fourth national championship in a row. You've got the future that is uncertain. For somebody like Tiare, it certainly looks like that will include the national team, possibly the Olympic team in Los Angeles in 4 years.
It's the end of one of the most significant parts of your life.
Yep.
Yeah, you're leaving a comfort zone, right? You've been kind of protected in this environment for 4 years, and now all of a sudden figuring out what's next.
Bottom of the order here, facing Nicole May. Michaela Wark fouls one off. Grounded to short. Jennings took care of it back in the second inning. This is a Sooner program that has been so good for so long. Really were the favorites the last 3 seasons to win it. Maybe not as heavy a favorite this year to win it. Certainly they're on everybody's short list. But what we've seen around the country would lead us to believe, with all the upsets and more parity nationwide, that Mayhem really could be chaotic this postseason.
I think at the beginning of the year, there was the expectation to four-peat for them. No one has ever done it.
1-2 to Wark.
And this is also an Oklahoma program that when the lights get bright, there's typically when they start to be a little bit more energized. That carrot gets a little bit brighter.
Last weekend of the regular season, then our championship week. Next weekend, 5 championship games for you next Saturday on ESPN2. Wark pulls that to Brito. 1 down. And then, of course, 1 week from tomorrow is Selection Sunday. 2 hours of coverage for you on ESPN2 with the reveal of the bracket and wall-to-wall coverage of what that bracket breakdown will look like.
It's going to be an interesting year, interesting bracket for sure. And I'm always interested the teams, the second or third seed teams that come in that you're like, ooh, could do serious damage. Yeah, upsets.
Yep. Yeah, when we talk about parity, I mean, it's happening, not just second seeds, but third seeds.
Ground ball to second, 2 down. Yeah, that there will be a good host bubble for the regionals and the supers. You could have some big names on the road. Looks like we will be welcoming both Michigan and Arizona back to the postseason. They'll be on the road somewhere. I think a lot of people looking at Washington. Do they have the resume to host and get a third host out on the West Coast? What happens with Alabama? The Rhodes House is such a great environment. Will they hang on to a host? They had a losing record for the first time ever in the SEC this year. Bloodworth swings through it. Also, at this point, does not look like there will be a host in the Midwest. There will be not be a host from the Big Ten unless somebody has a huge push here late. Michigan's been hot. They lost today. One and two. Nicole May looking for her first 1-2-3 inning and get to the heart of the order back up for the Sooners. Florida State, another team that had been smoking hot of late, but then they lost 2 of 3 to Syracuse this weekend. Duke wins the ACC. Brito. And a 1-2-3 inning. Holly's got Kenny Gajewski on the mic. When we come back, scoreless in Norman.
It's all about it. I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Ivy Rosenberry, your pitcher, fighting through some pain today, but how do you see her succeeding right now?
She's a warrior. She's hurting bad. But this is a part of what we've got to learn is what she can do, how she can manage this pain. It's exciting. I'm just so proud of her. She's everything about the cowgirl way.
You wanted to say something special to your family.
Yeah, I've got some family in Oregon. We lost my uncle, Jerry, this week, and I just know that they're watching us here today, and we love you, and just he'll be very missed.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Part of what Kenny was just talking about with Ivy being a warrior and this tough Oklahoma offense is really get inside. And you look at Jada Coleman coming inside of the lefties, even Kenzie Hansen, one of the best hitters in this lineup, getting that inside pitch called, setting up to Sid Sanders to then go away. That is why she's been able to be so effective.
And it's still just allowed the one hit as we head to the bottom of the fourth, and the 3, 4, 5 batters coming up.
And Beth, it's one of those things that you know, if you can get off barrel for these Oklahoma hitters, and you can see them backing off the plate now. Tiari Jennings
flew out to center her first time up. This is now the inning that Kenny was hoping Ivy would be able to get through. When we talked to him pregame, he said a couple times through the order, anything other than that is gravy. But of course, you're set up with a couple of All-Americans here to start things off. Jennings got under it. McDonald drifting over. One down.
Well, as a pitcher, when you're throwing and you know it's going to hurt when you get to a certain point in your motion, it is tough to battle through that, even just mentally. So for Rosenberry to be doing what she's doing is really quite impressive.
Well, we heard Holly's story about how much fun they've been having since that wiffle ball game. They've won 9 in a row. What a huge confidence boost to get the win here last night. Their first win in Norman since a postseason win here in '97. Their first regular season win in Norman in 31 years. And now they're trying to take the series here today. At the numbers, 1-1 to Brito. Alyssa popped up to first base back in the second inning.
You can see the pain on Ivy's face after that last pitch. I mean, she was cringing. Holly talked to Kenny about, you know, it's one of those things where she's just got to manage through the pain. It's not going to get any worse, but you can tell right now in this fourth inning, she is grinding.
Senior from Winchester, Virginia. Started her career at Virginia Tech. Brito out into shallow center. That's going to drop. And she's going to take second because nobody was there to cover. They were all out in center field.
And this is off the end of the bat, but Bloodworth Davis, middle's going back, trying to catch this off the end of the bat. And you could just kind of tell it had that flare hit about it. Really good effort by Rosie Davis, but this is the senior leadership of Brito. She's going to see this and realize.
And that'll bring up Torres, who has the only other hit for Oklahoma, a double in the second. She was the only runner in scoring position prior to this moment. And a chance for the Sooners to jump in front.
Yeah, if I'm Oklahoma right now, I'm either on the plate trying to take away that inside pitch, or I'm sitting it. I'm getting off the plate and I am hunting it, because it has been very consistent that they are throwing inside of these batters.
Chops that out to left center. Poulard is there, and Brito will hold at second, 2 down. Good coverage from Poulard to get over there. And now it's left to the freshman, Cassidy Pickering, who will step into that left side. Walked in the second.
See that self-talk, talking to herself.
.35 RBI on the season for Cassidy. With runners on, just 2 of 14 yesterday. They do not have a run batted in with a runner in scoring position so far in the series. Pickering out to center, and that's going to drop. They're waving Brito home. Poulard's throw is not in time as Brito slides under the tag. And the Sooners take the lead.
This is a great read by Alyssa Brito, because I thought that there was a chance Poulard could catch this ball in center field. She looked like she was going to watch Brito. She just goes. If she's going to catch this ball, she's done. A good throw at...
Looks like they're talking about something in the Oklahoma State dugout right now, the coaching staff. But the umpires are not going to take a look at this. So apparently Kenny has not challenged.
Wow.
And the run will stand 1-0 Oklahoma.
That's the game as of now. I mean, if that's a play you're going to challenge, you get 2 of them. I don't know what better play you'd want to.
Yeah. Unfortunately, in the Big 12, the umpires don't wear microphones. We don't have communication with them. I'm not sure what the exchange was between the umpires and Kenny Gajewski. But on the throw home, Pickering also was able to take second, so now Hansen has a chance for an RBI.
I don't know if I give her anything to hit. I mean, maybe around the strike zone. I mean, she's in the 7 hole as their best hitter.
Yeah.
Sid Sanders, who has been up and down this season. First base is open with 2 outs.
See if they just pitch around.
Especially now. Don't give her anything. How many times have we seen Kenzie Hansen come up with the hit of a game? Game winners?
A lot.
Yeah, and this is where Oklahoma
I'm sorry, was that rhetorical?
Yeah, is lethal. A .355 batting average with 2 outs. And that's really why Brito scored as well. With 2 outs, you're not wondering if that ball is caught or not. With 1 out, you're right?
just
Brito
running.
Brito has to say, is she going to catch it? Is she not? Do I go? Do I not? And with 2 outs, you're just going, and she's easy.
Wow, around the plate again. So now it's 3-2. And Hansen draws the walk. And the bat gets passed to Sydney Sanders.
That's a smart move there. I mean, do not throw anything that Kinsey Hansen can drive, and it doesn't get any easier anywhere in this Oklahoma lineup. But that is a girl that you do not want to beat you.
So you're going from a 430 hitter to a 270 hitter. The danger here is the power. As Sanders takes.
I know I've messed up in the past. From now on, there will be $0
delivery fee.
What?
With Dash Pass, you pay $0 delivery fee on DoorDash.
To zero!
Dash Pass, your door to $0 delivery fees. DoorDash.
At KFC, grab 2 pieces of hot, juicy chicken, a side of mashed potatoes and gravy, and a biscuit for just $4.99. Son of a bucket, that's a good deal. New taste of KFC deals. Only at KFC.
Are you crying? No. There's no crying in baseball. Or with the Capital One Venture Card, because it lets you earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every day. And you can use those miles on any travel purchase. What's in your wallet?
Tacos.
Can Billy come out to play?
Yes!
Woohoo!
The all-new Tacoma. Toyota. Let's go places.
When Mario needs to be at his best, he needs protection that goes beyond. Dove Men with 72-hour protection and 1-quarter moisturizer. So he can forget his underarms and focus on being unforgettable. Dove Men. Forgettable underarms, unforgettable you.
Every single inning, it's throw a punch, get punched.
They are the gold standard.
It's going to be very, very intense. Those intense games show you what you're missing or show you where you are.
Well, Bedlam has lived up to the hype. The 2 starters today, very stingy for Ivy Rosenberry and Nicole May. They've combined for 7 strikeouts through 8 innings of work. Just the 1 run up on the board. The Sooners now in front, trying to even this series at 1 game apiece and stay on pace with Texas atop the Big 12 standings. Oklahoma needs a win to stay tied for first. Oklahoma State needs a win to stay in the race until tomorrow, the final game of the regular season. Texas already a winner, so they're a half a game in front right now with 1 more to play tomorrow. And we apologize, our scoreboard, our score bug, as we say in the biz, is going to try and get that fixed for you. So switch to a little radio call here in terms of the count as Julian Poulard steps in, top of the lineup. Poulard held up 1-0. Struck out on a rise ball in the first and then struck out in the third, but got on base due to a wild pitch. Through 4 innings, 6 lobs for Oklahoma State. They've had some chances. In for a strike, 1-1. This powerful offense that May has kept quiet. An Oklahoma State team that is on pace to set a new school record for runs scored per game and possibly home runs. And now May in front, 1-2. Nobody out here in the top of the 5th. Called strike 3.
Third time through the order for Oklahoma State, but Nicole May has just been so strong. It is this off speed that has been so effective. That changeup really fooling is that the buckle. Poulard just not able to identify that pitch, and it's really all about spin. It's about speed.
First pitch swinging down the line. Sanders is there, 2 out.
And after a 1-2-3 inning in the 4th, looking good here in the 5th. Nicole May is actually getting stronger as she goes.
Yeah, after back-to-back singles in the 3rd, she's now retired 6 in a row. And this inning, 2 outs on 5 pitches. See if Wong makes her work. 1-0 Oklahoma here in the top of the 5th.
It's interesting. They were a lot more aggressive the first few innings, and now OSU taking a lot of strikes.
Well, Nicole May will get you in the middle. If you're not sitting, change, or attacking something, you sit in the middle and you're going to be late on the hard and you're going to be too early on the soft. So you almost have to go up there and just like you would split the plate, you've got to split the speeds and decide, hey, what am I doing? What am I looking for?
Caroline has one of their 4 base hits, a single back in the 1st, and now down 1-2 with 2 out. On this senior weekend, and for the senior Nicole May. Sanders runs out of room. It's a pitching staff wants to respond to the challenge. Of course, they lost Jordy Ball from a year ago, the most outstanding player of the World Series last year, transferred to Nebraska. Their ERA numbers have not been as good this year as last. But boy, can that group make its mark heading into the postseason for the Sooners. Wong drives one deep and out of here. The Pokes tie it up. The home run ball for Caroline Wong. '17th of the season.
Everything Caroline Wong had been seeing had been inside, then a little bit of off speed, but this left more middle and up. This is the cookie zone for Caroline Wong. She's able to not only connect to this, but blast it out here. The hardest hit ball we've seen in the game today. Wong's bat has been very quiet this series. They've done a good job pitching to her. Big mistake there.
Their 5th 2-out hit of the day, and that's a doozy. Carly Godwin. And just as I was talking about that Oklahoma pitching staff, for better or worse, and Wong drove that one deep.
Yeah, and that's a 10th home run of the year that Nicole May has given up. That's really been the area that this pitching staff for Oklahoma has struggled, is with the long ball and then damage before the big hit is given up.
4 home runs in 2 days for Oklahoma State, 3 yesterday.
Yeah, and for May, when she started the year 11-0, she'd only given up 5 home runs, but now 5 home runs in her last 5 outings. And all even at 1 apiece. Godwin, base hit. 3rd time today that Carly has been aboard.
6th time this weekend. Tell you what, when it rains, it pours. And for Carly Godwin, we've seen her crush balls. This off the very end of the bat. It's actually a great pitcher's pitch, off speed, changeup. Just pulls it in the right spot.
A little more competitive out of the zone. Chase her down in the dirt. Chase her out of the zone.
I don't want that haircut for you, Smitty.
Hey, I
think she had that.
Okay.
1986.
Hey, you know, everything that's cool comes back.
At least in the state of Oklahoma.
Smitty, by the way, I'm just saying, Smitty was 14-2 playing in Bedlam for the Pokes. One of the great eras in their history. Really, until recent days.
Yeah.
With 4 straight trips to the World Series. Yeah. I mean, she was throwing around the word owned earlier off camera. Her words, not mine. Davis pops it up, and that'll take care of the inning. But Caroline Wong, downtown.
Wong leads the Pokes with every offensive category now. Her 7.
Oklahoma and Oklahoma State both have a chance, along with Texas. Longhorns already with a win in hand today, so they are half a game up on the Sooners, a game up on Oklahoma State. And we have a new pitcher in the ballgame for the Pokes. It's Lexi Kilfoyle. Now that they have come back to tie it up at 1 apiece.
Lexi Kilfoyle having an outstanding senior year. She really has done a great job of controlling the zone this year. 20-game winner, 111 strikeouts. She's going to be a little more pitch contact, use that strong defense behind her. Rolls a lot of ground balls because she is up near 77% drop balls.
Dropping down the bunt is Riley Boone. Go ahead, run aboard to open up the bottom of the 5th for the Sooners.
Perfect execution of a drag bunt. Watch what Riley Boone, because she gets that top hat up, just absolutely makes that ball die in front of home plate. Wong had no chance.
The order and Jada Coleman. Top 3 in the lineup are 0 for 6 so far today. That all coming against the starter Rosenberry.
You see now 2 consecutive bunt attempts because Lexi Kilfoyle, the one thing a drop ball pitcher you can do against is lay down good bunts.
Coleman shows it, then slaps it to third. And Boone able to, no, they're going to call her out at second.
I think she was safe all the way. This is without even looking at a replay.
Looked like a little bit of a bobble on a wait. Edwards waiting for Davis to get over to the bag.
That's safe.
Yeah, that hesitation from Edwards.
So this play is under review, and by the look of that last replay, I think it's going to be changed to give Oklahoma 2 on with nobody out.
This is where putting the ball in play versus the strikeout just starts to put pressure on defense. We saw Oklahoma State, even in the win, they had 3 errors yesterday, and you felt like in those innings, in fact, Edwards dropped a fly ball that even Kenny Gajewski was telling us before the game. He said they were lucky to get out of that.
Well, the other thing, too, that hurts Oklahoma State here is that Davis can't really stretch toward the ball because she was late getting to the bag. If she's on the bag...
Disputable evidence to change it?
I don't know. I mean, this is when I wish the bags would light up once you hit them.
Yeah. What you got for us, Holly?
Well, while we're waiting for this lengthy review, I just wanted to give you an update on Riley Boone at second base. I couldn't help but notice she's always chewing a lot of gum during the games. And so I got to the bottom of it. She started out with 10 pieces of gum in her mouth today. She said often as the game goes, she'll keep adding another piece. She does get up to about 15 pieces of gum throughout the course of every game. You know, just while we're waiting for the replay, I thought that's information you guys need to know.
Standing reporting. I was a gum lover myself in my playing days.
15 pieces, though? I mean, that's another level.
Well, I mean, it depends how you count. Like, you don't know how many pieces if it's like a pack of Big League Chew. Like, but it'd be a whole pack.
Yeah, chiclets. I mean, you have 40 of those.
I think we're working on an NIL deal right now.
I was
for
just going to say,
Riley
she
Boone,
needs
if somebody,
NIL.
if some young people want to jump in on that.
Peek in the dugout.
Of course, for those of you that watched, Hoosiers as a kid, it was Dentine coach, but it's a whole nother sport. At any rate, we are in a lengthy delay. That we didn't really think was necessary, but we want to make sure they get it right. Hopefully soon everybody goes to the SEC way of doing things, and you have a central location for your replay review, and the umpires are mic'd up and they can talk back and forth, and that speeds up the process. And they are going to keep the call as is and call her out.
Usually the longer they take, the harder it is for them to overturn a call.
Because they don't have the evidence, the indisputable evidence.
So with one down, it's Jada Coleman over at first. And Ella Parker stepping in. She's grounded to the right side twice. Ella's been up around the top of the order because not only packs some punch, but she's got some speed too. Off speed from Kilfoyle, in for a strike. Lexi coming on in relief to start the inning. Having an All-American campaign, the type of season so far. 20 wins on the year, including the win yesterday. She faced 16 batters through 73 pitches coming on in relief. 4 innings of work. Parker a little late on that, 1-2.
Kilfoyle's just really done a good job of limiting those free passes. That's really the thing that has made her so effective this year. She's got that heavy drop, heavy break at the end of her pitch.
One, two. Oh, it bounced away from Wong, but Coleman stays at first.
She smacked herself in the helmet, knowing that is a ball that she's usually searching for. As soon as she sees ball in the dirt, Coleman standing on second base.
Well, the other thing about Lexi, too, of course, is, after transferring, she's on her 3rd different pitching coach in the last 3 years. 1 at Alabama and 2 at Oklahoma State.
Well, Carrie Epperly actually matches up very well. She also sees Casey Clark back in Tampa, who's a great pitching coach, so had some really good work.
And there is the free pass to Parker. Go-ahead run now at second base. And if you're on the Oklahoma side of things, you'd say Tiare Jennings is due and has been so good in big moments over the course of her career. Looking for her first hit of Bedlam.
Well, it's interesting. She is so far off the plate. She is typically off in The Sooners have been looking for those inside drops, but this is even more so than normal.
Well, she's hit everything off the end of the bat, too. Both her flyouts just missing.
Guilfoyle comes back inside on her for a strike. Out of San Pedro, California, 3 times a first-team All-American, 3 seasons as a 400 hitter or better. Ground ball to third, and it bounces off of Edwards, and everybody's safe.
This ball just hit so hard at Edwards. Going to take a hop up off of her chest. And that's what the power of this Oklahoma offense will do, is that not only we talk about their batting average, but the way they strike the ball that Edwards would love to have back.
And a great secondary lead from Jada Coleman, because normally a bobble like that, you have a play at third base. I mean, didn't get that far away, but Jada Coleman, a fantastic jump to get to third.
So fielder's choice, a walk, and an error loading them up here for the Sooners. And Alyssa Brito will step in, a 400 hitter with 16 home runs on the season. For Oklahoma State, they are looking for their first regular season series win here in Norman in 31 years. They still have a chance at the Big 12 title. And for Oklahoma, they need to win today and win Game 3 tomorrow to clinch a share of their 12th consecutive Big 12 title. And this is a senior against a senior. Brito does have 1 grand slam this season. She's hitting .375 with the bases loaded. One and 0.
Middle infielders for Oklahoma State are going to be pulled up the line. You can see they're well in, and with Brito being a righty.
Two and 0. Off speed, 3 and 0. Brito takes strike 1. Three and 2. Number 4 hitter in the lineup watches a couple of strikes go by. Brito chops it foul.
She hit that one off her front foot. Kind of gone around it, and we're seeing a lot of these Oklahoma hitters knowing, okay, she's going to come inside at some point, trying to get quick, trying to open up that front side.
Lexi Guilfoyle gets the K2 down.
The setup pitch is something hard low and inside. Jesse, we were just saying that Brito gets around, and then a off-speed pitch on the outer half just gets Brito to swing through it.
Yeah, this is a terrific route.
Now it's Elena Torres, doubled back in the second, flew out to center field in the 4th. Go-ahead run at third here in the bottom of the fifth. RBI double for Cassidy Pickering got them the lead in the bottom of the fourth, and Oklahoma State tied it up in the top half of this inning on the Caroline Wong home run. Sooners come right back with a threat. Guilfoyle falling behind again. Kenny Gajewski hoping the free pass and the error doesn't bite him.
That's a beautiful pitch, and Caroline Wong was actually set up for that outside and ended up catching it inside. Otherwise, I think she frames that up, gets the call.
3-1. Ball four, and that'll walk in a run, and the Sooners are back in front.
This is what Oklahoma has done. And we talk a lot about the extra base hits and the home runs, but really this season, it's been the walks. All throughout the lineup, they're already fourth on their all-time list in total walks. And that was a huge one there to take the lead.
So that'll bring up Cassidy Pickering, who drove in a runner last time up. Looks like Patty Gasso may be going to is it a pinch runner about to come on here? Set it down to Holly.
We were talking to Patty Gasso about just how patient their discipline is at the plate. She said normally their goal is to have double walks to strikeout ratio a season. Right now, they're at almost 3 times walks to strikeouts. Their strikeout rate is just 7.8%. That would be the lowest in school history if that stands. And that discipline at the plate has been a hallmark of this team.
Almost to the point at times when she wants them to be maybe a little more aggressive.
Yeah.
And there's always that fine line of, you know, how perfect does the pitch need to be? I mean, we've seen great hitters be able to reach pitches outside the zone, and this team can obviously do that.
Now for Pickering, the base is still loaded. She had a grand slam in her debut in the opening game of the season for the Sooners. Goes with the outside pitch and foul.
Yeah, it's been Torres and Pickering that have had the best at-bats for this lineup. You know, kind of right here, middle to bottom of the order. Torres had the double and the walk, and then Pickering has just had a really great eye, been able to get the pitches that she can drive and hit. Of course, it was her hit that scored the run back in the third.
Lefties have not had a ton of success against Lexi this year. Guilfoyle holding them to a $1.69 coming into the game today. But those lefties have been pesky in this inning. Two with 2 down.
Pickering so late on that, and she is smiling because you could tell 2 strikes she was trying to protect against anything off speed. I mean, she caught that, or hit that almost when Wong was catching it.
Well, the outies are shallow and shifted way left. Another 2-2 from Lexi, and the swing and a miss. Guilfoyle with a couple of strikeouts on the off speed this inning, but also a walk to bring a run in. Under the tag. Then in the 5th, Caroline Wong with the rocket. Over the wall and left, ties the game, and then with the bases loaded, an RBI walk for Alina Torres. And it's 2-1 OU as we head to the 6th. Texas already a winner today, so Oklahoma needs to win to keep pace. Oklahoma State needs a win to stay in the race. And Claire Tim launches that one deep and gone, and the home run barrage in this series continues for the Pokes.
First pitch.
Wow, first pitch swinging.
Don't waste any time. And we were talking about that. Oklahoma State early in this game, aggressive early in the count. We saw in the last couple innings, they had stopped that, taken a lot of strikes, ended up striking out, looking, getting deeper in accounts. Claire Tim, though, you can tell she's hunting inside. Gets a pitch right on that corner. Beautiful job. Once you get barrel to a pitch in this location with the power of Tim, immediate home run.
Yeah, 8th home run of the year for Claire.
The Cowgirls respond to both runs scored by Oklahoma.
There's not a lot of orange in this stadium, but you're going to find probably the biggest patch where Claire Tim hit it out in right field.
That's one of the great things about this Love's Field is those home run balls get launched into the crowd, the fans.
Claire said, I got you, fans. I see you.
20 to 30 deep out there in left and right. They actually have already had to add some temporary bleachers out there because of the ticket demand.
Love that.
They've got boxes out in center field.
This is great for the sport.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. I had goosebumps walking in here today.
Holly Rowe, I think, is working on the, is that trademark yet? The Gasso Garden out there in center field. Michaela Wark, another deep drive, and that is gone. Her second of the series. And as soon as she swung the bat, she started to celebrate.
Talk about the reaction of knowing you got it immediately. Michaela Wark, watch this. Get your dugout. This is before, by the way, the ball is still in the air. She just turns to her dugout, throws down her bat.
Absolutely. And are they going to bring in Kelly Maxwell here out of the bullpen? The former Cowgirl turned Sooner coming on in relief. Pokes up a run.
Did you know when you send money or spend money, before it gets where it's going, someone's taking a bite? For now.
I mean, Smitty, you would know this better than anyone. There's never been a higher profile player to make that cross.
No, the pressure on her has just been so great this year. You know, she's handled a lot of stuff gracefully, but it can't be easy. I mean, it cannot be easy if you were a Seminole or a Gator, or you name it. You know, Berkeley, Stanford,
Duke and Carolina.
At Duke and Carolina, there are just some rivalries that it's hard to imagine playing on both sides. And that young lady has had to probably go through a lot internally to be able to play the game she loves.
And now she comes on with her team down a run after the back-to-back home runs for Claire Tim and Michaela Wark in the 6 and 7 spots in the lineup. Here's Lexi McDonald. Second time they've seen Kelly. Of course, she took the loss last night. 4 innings of work, 4 hits, 3 earned runs in a 6-3 win for the Pokes.
One of the things Oklahoma State did yesterday against Maxwell is get on the plate, try to take away the inside part of the plate.
And a hit batter.
Sounds like you were being Nostradamus.
That just makes it so hard, especially if you look at Lexi's back foot. I mean, she is right up on the plate. And that's a wild pitch for sure in the batter's box, but it makes it very difficult for a pitcher to find that sweet spot to get a strike without hitting a batter.
Second free pass of the day and a pinch runner coming on at first. McDonald could re-enter. It's Tia Warsaw.
And just to your point, you know, part of Kelly's game is throwing that curveball backdoor, even that rise ball. She just has that tight lefty spin and will throw it at your hip. But when you're up on the plate, there's not much room to be able to miss.
Let's go down to Holly.
Well, guys, Kelly Maxwell, after a pitching coach change at Oklahoma State, did put her name in the portal, but she had graduated from Oklahoma State. When she went into the portal, Patty Gasso said all the big dogs were after her, but she had a great visit here. She wants to be a vet, and so she was attracted to the veterinary school here. She's shadowing one of the best vets here in Norman, Oklahoma, but it has been a little bit ugly on social media. People on Oklahoma State side not understanding why she left. Kenny Gajewski has said he was very hurt by her decision to leave. And there's been a lot of tough feelings. Kelly admitting to her teammates after the game last night, it was hard. But she has got to show some composure here after putting the first batter on with a hit by pitch.
Kenny Gajewski and Kelly Maxwell have not spoke since then as well. And that's hard. That's a coach that you were close with, and then the bond broken.
Now base runner for Megan Bloodworth. Corners are in, expecting the bunt, and that will stay on the chalk. And everybody's safe. Warsop headed for third. And the short game works. Runners on the corners. And nobody out.
And that's a tough play for Kelly Maxwell because I think she's letting it go, thinking it's going to roll foul, reading the spin on it. But it just doesn't. It stays fair. You can see Kelly's kind of waiting for it to roll foul. It does not. The throw down the line.
Well, and because she's right on the line, so she fields this literally right in the base path, so that's why it hits the bunt.
Yeah. Good job getting the bunt down. A great job getting over to third base.
I think Patty's checking to see if the runner was in the inside the line, running down to first. Let's see where Kinsey Hansen is as well on this play, the catcher. Oh boy, she is inside the line.
Entire body is inside the chalk line.
On the chalk line, you're still in
the line, right on the baseline.
She had the step right before the bag, guys. If we're going to have another chance to look at it, is inside the line. On the chalk, the last few steps, and then the left foot, I believe, is going to be inside the line.
But you don't have it. You have
right
to
there.
Because the base is inside the chalk line.
Yeah.
So that's what forces, and that's why a lot of coaches do want the orange bag because
that's what we need.
It alleviates this situation. So
double first base. We keep getting closer to getting that. Hopefully one day soon. But the play is under review. The call is safe. Runners on the corners with nobody out. And the top of the order coming back up.
And by the way, the rule is created so that, because you do get, especially in short game situations, where a runner will clearly run inside to make that play very hard.
And another lengthy review here again. No contact with a centrally located review and no microphones for the umpires to relay any information. Hopefully that is coming nationwide as well real soon. In your scorebook, it's a single and then an E1 that allowed Warsop to get to third base.
By the way, too, I mean, that bunt by Megan Bloodworth, who has, been struggling offensively, is a huge play to roll over to the top of the lineup.
Well, and that's the other part of the equation is that it did look like even if the throw wouldn't have hit her, she was going to be safe. It was a slow developing play.
Pretty much seen it all in this one.
We have.
Quite a few replay reviews. Can't come to the state of Oklahoma without some lightning and thunder.
Yeah, we had a 3.5-hour weather delay after, 4 pitches?
Yep, 4 pitches.
But then upon return, It's been a Bedlam classic so far. Again, Oklahoma 1-0 lead in the fourth. Oklahoma State tied it in the fifth. Oklahoma went up a run again in the fifth. And now 2 home runs here in the sixth for the Oklahoma State lead. And the call will stand. And Oklahoma State with 2 on and nobody out. And now Jillian Poulard, a strikeout victim 3 times against the starter Nicole May, will face Kelly Maxwell. And you're also talking about a pass and an error now in the inning for the Sooners. Really good speed on the bases with Warsop and Bloodworth. In for a strike to Poulard. Oh, and 2.
Great pitch by Kelly Maxwell. That pitch actually looks like it starts behind Poulard's back and then comes back over the plate.
And got away from him. 1 and 2. Here's the 2-2. Lifts that one to left and turning the defender around, and it reaches the wall and it's gone. 3-run home run. It's the 3rd of the inning for Oklahoma State.
And off the bat, I did not think the yard, if you look at the replay on this ball off the bat looks like it's going to be a shot to Pickering. You can see the way that Poulard has worked back from an 0-2 count. It's down at her shoelaces on the outer half. She goes and gets it, but the wind is blowing out, and this ball just leaves the yard. Short, compact swing.
In their last 8 plate appearances for Oklahoma State, and for the 2nd game in a row, they put up a 6 spot on Oklahoma's pitchers, who came into the game with the 5th best ERA in the country. Hansen with the catch and collided hard with the backstop and the wall.
Remember, she had a knee injury earlier this season. This is a heck of a play. I mean, the athlete that Kinzie Hansen is just behind the plate, but the fact that she gets to this so quickly, knows where the netting is, continues to stay with it, get into the fans there, holds on to it for a catch. Remember, too, earlier this game, she had a direct foul ball, hit her arm.
Yep.
The catcher.
Whew. Yeah, Nicole made a lot of pitches down in the dirt. Really beating her up back there.
Here's Caroline Wong, the solo home run in the 5th inning. Also has a single today.
Kinzie is still in pain.
Kinzie Hansen, as she was trying to shake off the effects of that catch, went back out, yelled at Kelly Maxwell in the circle. I got you. Doing everything she can to support her pitcher right now.
Yeah, a tough inning for the Sooners. It started with Nicole May, allowed 2 home runs, and now a home run off of Maxwell. And a big 5-run outburst by the Pokes. Long check swing back to Maxwell. 2 down. This is the best inning that any opponent has had against Oklahoma all season with the 5 spot. Ten of the 12 runs now in the series for the Pokes via the home run ball.
Since Vanessa Shipley-Fletcher has taken over as the hitting coach for Oklahoma State, this team has really, really turned around offensively. Look like they're enjoying themselves, too. Their swings, not everybody's cookie cutter.
They have 14 players that have home runs. I mean, there's just so much power, which Oklahoma State hasn't always. They were always scrappy, putting the ball in play.
That hooting and hollering here off in the distance, I think that's coming from Austin because Texas is rooting hard right now for the Cowgirls. As the score stands, they would clinch at least a share of the Big 12 regular season title.
It's been Oklahoma's for what, the past
11 years in a row. Of course, for Kenny Gajewski, he was joking with us the other day. Well, that kind of stinks no matter who wins it. If it's not us, we don't care much for OU. We don't care much for Texas. But I think he's enjoying stirring the pot a great deal here the last 24 hours. After almost completely turning over the roster from a year ago and the turmoil around Maxwell in the offseason, and now to bring this team all the way back and bring them to Norman with a chance of winning a series here for the first time in forever.
Well, it's hard to beat Oklahoma on the road, but to do it in Norman, it almost feels like you're climbing Mount Everest. Texas won the series in Austin. Oklahoma State beat Texas, but in Stillwater.
Ground ball to Brito at third, and the inning comes to an end, but 3 round trippers and a 5-run inning for the Cowgirls. A 5-run 6th inning for Oklahoma State on 3 home runs, and they have opened this thing up. They lead OU 6-2. Allowing the Sooners just a couple of runs on 4 hits so far in the ball game with their 2 pitchers, Ivy Rosenberry and now Lexi Kilfoyle, as they try and win the series here in Norman and help Texas get a share of a Big 12 championship. They have not won a series here in Norman since 1993. And the Sooners have worn the Big 12 crown for 11 years in a row. Hansen grounds out to third. If they lose this, then Texas could win the title outright tomorrow against Texas Tech, a team they beat 23-0 today.
1993, going back, that's head coach Sandy Fisher at the helm, who was my coach. Had an outstanding career, really built the program.
Yep.
And, when Kenny Gajewski was hired for this job, he said, hey, I want to honor her. I want to bring this program back to what she built. And he would know, because obviously he was playing baseball at Oklahoma during the years when Sandy was at Oklahoma State. And there's that record, Beth, that we were talking about.
Yeah, what was he, 4-2, I think, as a baseball player in Bedlam. Quincy Lilio will come on as the pinch hitter, her 26th at-bat of the season, 4 for 26. She'll hit for Sid Sanders in the 8th spot in the lineup.
Sanders with 2 strikeouts in this game, and Patty Gasso, we've seen him kind of mix up the lineup, but now getting some other hitters a chance.
rivalry that has been so lopsided since Patty Gasso arrived. She has owned this series. In fact, only 2 wins for Kenny Gajewski in the last 8 years, and he might match that this weekend.
It's such a difference when you can score, and I think that's been the difference for this Sooner team versus the past. They're actually they're scoring more runs and have more offensive production, but their pitchers are giving up more. Yeah. For other teams, it just gives them so much more hope.
And a strikeout of Lilio. Second for Kilfoyle, 2 down.
Kilfoyle working that drop ball in the outer half, really pinpoint control, stretching the zone.
Boy, but what a big moment, too, for Lexi Kilfoyle. Finally getting her chance to embrace the ace, if you will. She, of course, spent her first couple of years with Montana Fouts at Alabama, and then last year at Oklahoma State with Kelly Maxwell. And now this season, she has been the #1 on this staff. Infield pop. And she gets a 1, 2, 3 inning. And the Pokes are now 3 outs away from winning the series.
Michaela Wark back-to-back knocks to knock out the pitcher Nicole May, the starting pitcher. Bring in Kelly Maxwell. Jillian Pouillard with the 3-run home run. They've been lights out, and that has been the story for Oklahoma State and their offense. 10 of the 12 runs in this series via the long ball.
3 of them yesterday, 4 of them today. And a 6-2 lead into the 7th inning. And they'll face a new pitcher in Carly Keeney. 3rd one of the day for the Sooners.
Keeney was good last night. 2 1/3 innings in relief. Did not give up a hit.
Right back to Keeney. Oh, and the throw gets away from Sanders at first. And another error for the Sooner defense.
It's a hard shot back to Carly Keeney, and it looks like it's going to be a routine play. Ball bashed right back at her. Flips it over to first and is offline, but that's still probably a ball that Sid Sanders needs to glove up. Leave the bag, make a catch.
An E3, but they scored an E on the pitcher. And now a pinch runner over at first base. Scotland David is on the run.
Championship for the Sooners, but he also started his career as a groundskeeper here at Oklahoma. He was in charge of all of the athletic fields, got so good at it, and Patty Gasso loved having him around her team and her program. She'd even invite him to go on some of their road trips, and during that time he had his own business as a turf manager. He decided, you know, I'm not doing my passion, which is coaching. So late in life, at almost 40 years old, he changed from that very successful turf business to become a coach. And here he is about to pull a huge upset in this series, the place that it all started for him.
Yeah, just an incredible story. And the success now in recent years, and 3 outs away from being the first team in 18 years to come into this house in the regular season and win a series.
It's a brand new house too. I mean, that's the big thing. It's a brand new stadium, fans over doubled from what They had it, Marita Hines.
And you know, you don't wish anyone ill will, but oh my goodness, in a rivalry, if you do come in and do this on a senior weekend, yeah, you're going to enjoy that. Still one more at bat in the 7th. And a strikeout of the pinch hitter, Katie Lott. One down.
Keeney working that drop ball. Inner half. Kenny Gajewski trying to get some of the younger kids.
Warsop is the hitter here. Came on as the pinch runner in the last inning. We are scheduled to be back here tomorrow at 4 Eastern on ESPN2 for Game 3. There is the expectation of more bad weather in the neighborhood. But this final weekend of the regular season, we've seen Duke win the ACC. We've seen Tennessee now win back-to-back SEC championships. Northwestern with a share of the Big Ten. And now possibly Texas with a share of the Big 12. UCLA also with at least a share of the Pac-12 championship heading into play later tonight. Utah with an upset win over Washington today. We'll see how that affects their seeding possibilities. Walk-off wins for Tennessee and Florida today. Syracuse run-ruled Florida State this afternoon.
Craziness.
And that bunt goes foul. One-two pitch.
Tia Warsop, her first at bat in this series. All short game. Literally just trying to waste pitches. Fouling a lot off.
It's popped up. Burrito has it. Well, it's been all up and down the lineup, too. Every position, all 9 in the batting order have reached base here today. 6 different players have scored their 6 runs. And the combo in the circle with Rosenberry and Kilfoyle holding Oklahoma to 4 hits a day after they held them to 3 hits.
Second lowest total of the year.
And they Sooners average over 8 runs per game. They had 3 yesterday and 2 so far today. Winning every facet so far. Bloodworth grounds to short. And that'll do it. Last chance coming up. And it's the top of the order for the Sooners as we head to the bottom of the 7th. Oklahoma State, 3 outs away from their first series win in Norman in 31 years. And they can put into serious jeopardy Oklahoma's streak of Big 12 championships that is at 11 in a row. A loss here, they'd fall a game behind Texas and keep the Pokes' hopes alive for a share of a title. Texas will be playing Texas Tech tomorrow. 6 runs on 4 home runs today for Oklahoma State. Fittingly for the Sooners, top of the order, including Coleman and Jennings.
Second at bat in a row, we've seen Jada Coleman go to the short game. You don't see that a ton from her. You saw it earlier in freshman year, a little bit sophomore year, but right now just trying to get on base, get runners on.
In for a strike, 2-2. Coleman, base hit.
So diverse, Jada Coleman is, and honestly, she makes this look easy. You take Talon Edwards and how she's creeping in because of that speed that Coleman has, just pokes it right past her. Coleman has a ton of power. She can hit gaps home.
Lead off, aboard. Here's Ella Parker. Can the Sooners play their biggest game of pass the bat all season?
And what's interesting too is their outfield for Oklahoma State is actually playing the balls that have been hit off the end of the bat, the ones that have dropped in, so shallow.
Parker check swing, and the only play will be to tag the runner. Coleman over to second, 1 out.
Beth, normally you see any team, Oklahoma State historically as well, play these Oklahoma batters, and their heels are up against the wall.
Yeah.
But we've seen more hits actually drop in front of them instead of hit the gap, so they're playing shallow.
And with the wind blowing out, anything that's hit hard is probably going to go to the fence, and then you play it off the fence.
Tiare Jennings. Oh for 6 so far in this series. Has reached a couple of times, a walk yesterday on an error today.
This is the bat they need to get going. And there's so many hitters in this lineup, but she's the best. She is number 1, and she's been struggling. And you can tell the frustration. Continues to move off the plate, try to make adjustments.
Way off the plate. And you can even just see the way she kicks the dirt, the frustration on that.
All those records held by Jocelyn Allo that Jennings is chasing. The batting average has dropped below 250 in her last 15 games. Reaches for that one. 2 down. One out away from a series win. Last chance comes down to Alyssa Brito. Just outside the line.
Oklahoma State continues to come way inside. Try to cut off the handles for these Oklahoma hitters. Brito just asking after she swung at that, was that a strike or not?
Just missed it away. Same spot, 2-1. That one's in the dirt, 3-1. Brito, grounder to Rosie Davis at second. Ball game, and the series goes to Oklahoma State as they win in Norman and take the series for the...
But this group's just done an amazing job of coming back. When they get down, they answer. And I'm just so proud of them. It's just a really, really fun group.
Given all the kind of bad blood between the teams this year, there's a lot of storylines. How impressive is it that your team has not let those distractions impact what's happening on the field?
Yeah, I think the only bad blood is my comments that a lot of people took in a wrong way, to be honest. Our girls, there's nothing personal against them. It's nothing personal against Kelly. It's just me protecting our program here, and unfortunately got taken the wrong way, but it's really no bad blood, except we just want to beat those guys.
All right, well, thank you so much, Coach.
All right, Holly, thank you. All right.
Well, congratulations to Oklahoma State. Back-to-back wins here against OU in Norman. So there are your updated Big 12 standings. And congratulations to the Texas Longhorns. They earn at least a share. They can win it outright with a win tomorrow. And Oklahoma State now has put themselves in a position with a Texas loss tomorrow to grab a share of it themselves. Bedlam doesn't disappoint. Another good one here in Norman. We're right back here for Easter tomorrow on ESPN2 for Game 3. Bedlam.